All right, welcome back to an unprecedented, not fly by the seat of your pants, but all new episode of the Disney News podcast. We have Once Upon a Veteran, Marco. How's it going, man?
Good. Abbott, how you doing?
I'm living the dream in a way. I think we texted that over the weekend, my version of living the dream, and it was a good weekend. How was your weekend? Oh, it's a Monday night we're recording, by the way. But how was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was great. Got to talk with you a little bit of FaceTime, a little bit of
Yes.
face to
Yep.
face right before the weekend began. So that was
Yep.
the highlight of my weekend. Got
Okay,
a lot
cool.
of family visiting in town, so I'm coming to you live from the seat where I think best, my car. The subwoofers and like sound system is going on heavily in the living room right now, so that would not be good for the recording. But yeah, I'm here to give you my best thoughts. So I'm sitting in the best seat in the house.
Ooh, I like it even more. The best seat in the house is where, well, they say home is where the heart is, but I guess wherever you're behind is sitting. So there you go, the best seat.
Well, if
And
you're
it
like
takes two.
me,
Yeah.
if you're like me, you always get some of your best thoughts on your drive just to like random places.
This is very true. It takes me, how long does it take you one way to get to work? So do you have enough time to really kind of clear your mind, get your thoughts out, kind of go through your paces?
Roughly 30 minutes, but I do that talking to myself like those Matthew McConaughey Lincoln commercials where I'm just chilling, thinking to myself and just whatever comes my way with the energy.
Okay, okay. Well, what the universe is kind of giving you. Is it more of like if it were me, because you seem like a more, and I can't, and yet this is getting in assuming, getting to know you and knowing you. I can't help but think that for me, it's more of a constant, all right, all right, all right. And then that just kind of repeats itself. All right, all right, all right. And then I'll yell at somebody, all right. And then all right, all right. And then I imagine myself playing bongos with my shirt off on the beach. And then I'm scaring children, and that's just a whole other things. And then I'm not paying attention. And then I've completely made a wrong turn and I'm back home where I should be at work, and then I just give up and call in sick.
That sums up my Tuesday every morning. That specifically is my Tuesday.
Why is
Bongos
this your
and all.
Tuesday? Bongo.
Occasionally, I do a left.
Okay. It's not a constant left. It's not NASCAR. This is not NASCAR. Oh, that's funny. But this past weekend for me, and I was telling you that it was based, and you and I were talking a little bit before I hit the fun record button. But for me, this past weekend was exactly what the doctor ordered. No pun intended, because I'm married to one. But that's besides the point. Ha 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 ha. Get those hilarious jokes out of the way. You get down to business. But no, it was a good weekend because my children, my younger two, just started 3rd and 5th grade. So we're now officially 10th, 5th, and 3rd. So yeah, all the good things. Time is a cruel mistress. That was part of my post today. And it is. And so whatever, such is life. But I think everybody's off to a flying start. Lots of changes. And speaking of changes, Marco, what types of changes are we here to discuss?
We are here to discuss the changes that are going to be occurring at the Disney parks after the announcements they made at D23.
I tell you, I mean, when it comes to announcements with any D23, but of course they make with the parks panel, the big announcements every other year, every 2 years when it's in Anaheim. And I get that, right? Now, going back to from a movie standpoint, that does not hold my interest. I mean, I'm entertained by the movies, but I can't tell you the last time that I went to the actual movies. To me, I just don't, and this is a personal opinion, it's just so expensive. It's so expensive to go to the movies. I'm a fan. Even if I go by myself, I can't get out of there with at least spending $30. And ticket is going to be what, $18, $15, if not 20, right? And then, I'm sorry, I'm weak. I give in. I'm a salty, savory, crunchy person. I get the popcorn every time. I don't drink soda, but then I give in to the Coke and I'll go, okay, I'll get a small Coke. But of course, a small Coke is like a bucket with straps. You know what I mean? And with that being the case, it just wasn't as much for me. Did you have any takes on the big announcements they had for the movies, the entertainment side of things, the first night of D23? Not to put you on the spot.
Speaking of movies, when it comes to the current status or the current state of Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars combined,
Yes.
and before I even continue with any opinions of mine, I just wanted to let people know that what I will say in this recording is solely gonna be based off of what has been announced in D23.
Correct.
Now, some of my opinions are gonna be my own, and that's okay. That's my very right to have them. I will respect other people's opinions, even if
Sure.
they do not agree with me. I am not saying I am correct, and I am not saying that what I think is the objective truth. This is very subjective.
Sure.
I am a person who loves good entertainment. I love good shows, good movies. I love going to the movies, even though it is expensive nowadays. I will agree with you on that, Abbott. But as far as the current state of Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel combined, since 2019, they have not really brought their quality onto the big screen or the small screen. Granted, there have been minor shows that are Disney productions under the Disney umbrella, such as Loki. That one was a great follow-up after Endgame. But out of what they announced recently, Disney is focusing way too heavily on either making sequels or trying to relive the past. I feel that they have lost creativity in creating new and original stories. They keep gravitating towards wanting to make these remakes, especially from the original, like Walt Disney era, original Disney flicks. A good example is Snow White. I'm not going to touch too heavily on that one. But if you've seen the trailer for Snow White, it does not look good. It looks poorly. My stick figures come out better than that. I will say that. Like if you look at the CGI on that trailer, it just looks atrocious. Out of how much money Disney's pouring into these movies, the quality is not there. Now, as far as movie announcements, the only ones I'm excited for, I think, are going to be warranted sequels and follow-ups.
Sure.
It's going to be. Give me one sec.
You're good. No, you're good. When it comes to, and actually, this is what I'll do for you next. And there is a new tagline that we were going to incorporate with the podcast. And I said, because I recorded with oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. There was a tagline that I attached to, and we are going to attempt to stick to this. And I'm going to limit it now because we've been about 5-ish minutes in. I'm going to call it my giving our Disney best. And now tonight, 25 minutes or less, right? Because I want to make this the most, I want to add a little bit of pressure, right? Kind of put you on, I'm putting myself on the spot, forcing myself to think in the moment. But I'm going to hit the timer in 3, 2, 1. And we are officially counting down from 24 minutes because we want to condense what we cover within the podcast, because I have gotten some feedback and some people have reached out to me via message. Some people around the world. I had somebody from Western Australia, from Perth, say, enjoy the podcast. And he does his own kind of like cryptids kind of podcast. That's called the Truth Tank. But anyway, regardless, he reached out to me. He goes, love the stuff. He goes, rather long, mate. And I said, that's means we got to condense it. Perfect. So regardless, 30 minutes or less, but we are condensing it tonight to 25 minutes less, not to put you on the spot, not to throw you a curveball. But you were talking about relying too heavily on sequels. And you mentioned ahead of time the live action based on everything from at least the original, like Snow White. That CGI of each one of the dwarves, it's almost like that. They've got to go back. They've got to redesign these characters. It looks too cartoony, but yet looking real. You know what I mean? And it's almost reflective of what they did with Sonic the Hedgehog. Remember that whole debacle when they first released a preview for Sonic the Hedgehog, the live remake, and he looked like a strung out, like, I don't know. He looked strung out. It just looked weird, like something nightmares are made of. You remember that?
That's exactly what I'm thinking about this is, so the first rendition of the live Sonic, when they went public, had
Yes.
horrible, like it had a lot of backlash, and it was warranted
Oh
backlash
gosh. Yep.
because it enabled the company to go back to the
Yep.
drawing board and be able to make the newest Sonic rendition, which looks phenomenal and it works.
The
And
whole
it's
series, it's hilarious.
it's not because the first rendition that they introduced was very creepy and just eerie, like it made you uneasy. And so the new rendition that they currently have in the big screen with the first one, the second one, and even in the Knuckles show, which is actually really good.
I haven't seen that. Is it on
fantastic.
Paramount or it is good?
It's on Paramount. Idris Elba still voices Knuckles, and he is just great for that role, and especially the lead guy, the little side character, the police officer in the first two movies.
I know
He's
you're
just
talking about.
hilarious. He's just hilarious.
Yep.
But as I was saying, sorry, before we were interrupted.
No, you're fine. You are fine.
They're relying too heavily on these originals. I mean, not the originals. They're relying too heavily on making these remakes.
Yes.
That they're not even remakes anymore. They're changing the plot and storylines to something completely different that is not the original story. But as far as like Toy Story 5, that is not necessary. I am not a fan of Toy Story 4, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Toy Story trilogy was amazing, and it should have stopped at number 3. The fourth one was just their cash grab. They just put it out there for money, and it really did not enhance these characters in the long run.
That's the quote of the week, and the week just started. Toy Story 5, just totally unnecessary. As soon as they announced it, I went, let me guess, Toy Story 5 reboot, blah blah this, and then. But go ahead, I'm cutting you off.
No, you're good. But as far as like warranted sequels, I think is Moana 2 and Frozen 3.
Yep.
James Cameron's the third Avatar. He's also going to have a fourth and a fifth. It looks like.
Yes.
I mean, that guy has not missed the target. He has done really well so far. Given the proper time and resources, he was able to make The Way of Water, which looked phenomenal. The story was endearing. You felt every emotion from it, and the action was good. And also, they took their time to make that one, and they did not.
Exactly.
Even the actors were fully into what he was creating, that they were trained to hold their breath for like 6 minutes at a time or more. I mean, 4 or 5 minutes.
I didn't realize that.
They even broke Tom Cruise's record of holding his breath. Yes, it's kind of funny. But he is a director who can make and create good stories and keep them entertaining. But when you look at current examples, I have not seen Elemental. I
have not either. I've heard mixed reviews. My children enjoyed it, but yet again, it's not hard to entertain them. But that's neither here nor there.
I apologize. I meant Inside Out too.
Inside Out. I've heard nothing but great things.
Same.
My kids have seen it. I haven't seen it. I plan to see it when it comes streaming on Disney Plus. How relatable is that to someone of my ilk, my age, my cohort? I get it, but at the same time, I want an original story. And Inside Out, it just seems a little kind of out there for me. I'm not the biggest person I'm not touchy-feely, not going to talk about my emotions. I don't put that out there for the world to hear and world to see. I'm just not, that's just not a me thing. But why do I do a Disney-based podcast? Go look in a mirror. Okay, you're doing this with me, so whatever. I'm kidding. But with that said and done, I know there's one original Pixar movie coming out about beavers. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't think of the name, but there is a beavers themed.
Was it listed on that chart?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I think I saw it, but I don't know too much about it.
But yet again, point being is that out of the list of all the various, sequels, yet again, 4, 5, 6, 7 live action remake, blah 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 blah.
It's like live action renditions of current movies already made.
Oh my God, I've seen it once. I'm good. Keep it to the original, the hand drawn animation, which is the best animation in my opinion. So that's why I love Princess and the Frog holds a special place, with me. Maybe a kid's movie. I love that movie.
And so I'm not going to go too heavily on Stitch because I hope they prove me wrong on that one. But just because they take a beloved character and bring him to life, doesn't mean it's going to be a great, entertaining movie. Now, again, before we continue, I will
Sure.
say that to me, part of entertainment, especially when it comes to movies and shows,
Mhm.
is how engaged am I in this? How
Mhm.
how invested am I in this? Am I going to rewatch this? Because
Yeah.
even as hard as some great shows out there are, for
Mhm.
example, Ted Lasso, I can rewatch that almost
Yeah.
every day and still
Yeah.
laugh at it because
Yeah.
it's hilarious. It hits every emotional
Yep. This is true.
thing within the soul, and it's you can just connect to it. And there's many movies and TV shows that have come out like that, even by
It's
Disney.
true. Yep.
Um, a
Yep.
good example is season 1 of Mandalorian. That was such an
Yes.
amazing
Mhm.
movie. I mean,
Mhm.
amazing show
Yes.
that it just kept gravitating you, wanting more, more, and more.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but even with like new movies announced, both Star Wars and Marvel,
Mhm.
nothing really seems to be of interest. And why should we, as the audience, be continue to be invested in that?
Yeah.
Why?
We
There's no,
you,
and I'm
it
gonna,
peaked. It
I'm gonna
peaked
start.
with yeah. Go ahead.
I'm
I'm
gonna
listening.
start. So a good example is
Mhm.
the most recent Star Wars production, The Acolyte. It was so dull and boring. The characters were not invested in it. The acting was atrocious. There
Oh,
was
wow.
My forehead has much more facial expressions than the lead actress did. She had the same look in every scene for every type of emotional cue.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
I got more on this forehead with these wrinkles because I have no Botox than she has in like the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But just I didn't even finish that show because it was just so
Mhm.
boring. There's nothing that kept me wanting back. And as a Star Wars fan, I am very
Yeah.
saddened by that.
Me
I
too.
love Star Wars. I love going to Galaxy's
Right
Edge.
there with you. Right there
And
with you.
if you look at some of my posts from like a long time ago, I was
Yep.
rooting for the Acolyte. I kept
Mhm.
posting about it, how
Mhm.
excited I am.
Yep.
Such a big letdown. And I have a feeling that 80% of these movies and TV shows are going to be coming out with are
Mhm.
going to be letdowns, unfortunately, because
Yep.
they're losing their creativity. They're losing the production value behind it.
Yeah.
They're just all in the same volume screen using that
Yeah.
360 method just to
Yeah.
cut cost. And if you don't,
Yep. Mhm.
if the interest is there, they would put the effort into it. And if they would put the effort
Yep.
into it, means that the interest is there.
Great. Good
So
point.
sorry, that was my
No, no,
rant.
no, no, no. You got to get that out. No, no, no. If it's in your brain and you are like, not only are you super passionate about it, you are super knowledgeable. So that was, hey, brava. That was awesome. So,
Now,
no, thank you
let's
for your
get on
opinion.
the parks, shall we? Because I do have some thoughts on that as well.
Yes. So that
And
being the case,
I am very certain after people
yeah,
see, like, after your millions of viewers and followers,
yeah.
my account's going to be going from like one person down to like -3 followers.
It happens. It
Okay.
happens.
But again,
I,
it's I
you
am
take
not
a
drinking.
risk.
I
No,
am. I'm not a yes person. Like, in order for me to say yes, you have to impress me. I'm not a
very
yes.
true. Well, you've given me your honest opinion. It's a very good opinion, and I hold your opinion in high regard because I consider you a good buddy. And at the same time, because I knew I was watching, because we did our live stream, it was a train wreck. We tried to put some planning into it. We tried to go because we actually had a, and yet again we did consider, because they said no phones, can't stream anything. They did stream. People had their YouTube channels,
Oh, I was
and
watching streamers
exactly.
doing it.
And we were doing the same thing, providing commentary. But yet again, the amount of singing production, like just a bunch of musical numbers and comedic relief and things like that, I get that because people paid top dollar to be there, and it's a show. It's a show. I get that, and I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking the way they did D23. Obviously, the announcements, but the way that we did it was, oh, swing and a miss. Certain things have been very successful in topics that we've covered. Specifically, like the Bob when they fired Bob Chapek, when they fired him, Bob Paycheck. That episode got us kind of took us up another notch in regards to viewership and things like that. And we're getting to a point now when it's a lot of fun because I get to interact with people. And I'm not talking we have bukus of whoever, but at the same time, we do get feedback from people, and it's increasing around the world. It's a lot of fun. I will say that much to communicate with people around the world and connect specifically about Disney. It's so much fun because I didn't realize that people um, but I mean, I do get it, but people in, like I said, Australia, We have somebody that follows that I communicate with probably on a bi-weekly basis in Perth, or in Okinawa, or oh gosh, Hamburg, Germany. You name it. There's someone out there that has a relation, not just with our podcast, but a love for Disney. And that's why people are so passionate. That's why people are so not just progressive, but also traditionalist. They want to maintain that magical nostalgia. Because my question for you is, when you go to the parks, why do you go to the parks? Do you go because to escape reality? Do you just go for the food? Do you just go for the rides? Why do you go to Walt Disney World? What is your motivation?
Before I answer that question, I'm going to
Yes.
let you know that I am a fan of Disney.
Yes.
I am a fan of its movies, of its entertainment,
Yes.
of everything they've had to offer. I love going to the parks, and what I would love in the future is for them to continue succeeding in the proper direction, so that they can so that they can continue creating that revenue, because without the revenue, the parks would not exist. The
True.
movies would not exist. Its productions, its studios would not exist. Now, I'm going to say, now please correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody out there definitely message me, correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe that I read correctly somewhere that Walt Disney World makes up for 1/3 of Disney's profits.
Yeah.
Just Walt Disney World alone. That is not including the other parks.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope that they continue creating and giving people good experiences so much so that other people in the future can enjoy it. Not just myself right now, but 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, as revolutionary as it may be at the time, I hope that they continue succeeding in the proper direction.
Sure.
That's what I am hoping for the future when it comes to Disney parks. And to answer your question, the reason I go to is, in the beginning, I've said this before in one of your first podcasts with me.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's randomly after COVID, I said, I'm in a spot where I can go to have a vacation. And out of anywhere I could have gone, I chose to go to Disney World for a week, and also Universal Studios.
Yeah.
But I chose to give myself like the ultimate best solo rider experience ever. And I had a phenomenal week that was above and beyond on so many levels, much better than I could expect it, because as a kid, I only went to Disney World once.
Okay.
And that was my family. My parents saved every little penny they could to take me, my brothers, my siblings to Disney World for a week. And I remember standing in front of the castle with my dad, and he's holding up in his arms, and we're watching the fireworks show. I remember that vividly. When I saw Disney's Enchantment back in 2021, when I first went as an adult, I'm not afraid to admit I cried. Wow. Because it took me back. It took me back to when I was there with my father. And for the record, thankfully my dad is still alive. I love him to death. I love my parents to death. They live out of state. So I know not many people can say that nowadays. But if your parents are alive, give them a call, give them a hug whenever you see them. Take advantage of that. But every time I go to the parks, I always have like these nostalgic feelings from it when I was a kid. And one thing I said to myself as an adult, I can go anywhere for vacation. I could have gone across the world. I could have gone south of the border. I could have gone to the beach, whatever. But I chose to give myself this ultimate week-long experience so that I can go and relive some of those glorious moments, some of those great memories I've had, and recreate a few of them. And I did. And so I loved it so much. Within the first minute of stepping into Magic Kingdom on that first day of the trip, I went and upgraded my tickets to an annual pass. So ever since October 2021, I've been a pass holder.
That's awesome.
And for some reason, I keep going and I keep renewing it because I love it. And also, it introduced me to so many good people that I've met over time at the parks. One of them is the great legend, Abbott himself. Guys, if you ever have a chance to hang out with Abbott, he's phenomenal. His wife is so amazing, so loving. It's just such a wonderful person. Like, this whole family has been just the cherry on top of my trips.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
I really mean it. And so it's just all of these experiences I've been able to have on my own, and with or without friends. I am hoping to keep creating them again because I have my friend at work, he and his wife, they work at
Yeah.
the office I work at.
Yeah.
So amazing couple, lovely couple. And
Yep.
I talked them so much into putting like a
Mhm.
multi-$1,000 trip in the future where I
Wow.
can
Yeah.
join them next year. So that's
Mhm.
how good of a friend I am. I will talk you into going to Disney World.
You will, and you've already talked me into. We've been debating, and I'm not trying to get too off topic, but yet again, it just
Yeah.
reinforces the fundamental reason why. Because I still get down on, you can't control the weather, but I get down on the quality of things, the state of things at Disney World right now. In case in point, and I don't know if you had a chance to ride it. I assume you did. Tiana's.
So let me stop you there, my friend.
Yep.
Well, first, it's before we get into Tiana's.
Yep.
I love the current state of the parks, but I'm
Yep.
always open to
Mhm.
more
Correct.
expansions and new attractions. Now, when it comes to Tiana,
Yes.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do
Yep.
not like wet rides. Now, this last trip,
Yep.
I don't mind getting wet, but I don't like wet rides.
I get that. I get that.
I'm so sorry. but, but on this last trip, when you and I
Mhm.
hung out
Yep.
at Animal Kingdom,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we went there at opening time, and you
Mhm.
really wanted to go at, was it Kilimanjaro Safari? No, what was that?
It was
Kali River Rapids.
Kali River Rapids. Yeah. I
Okay,
was
so you
jonesing.
wanted
I
to get
was
on.
like, I was on the fence, but I was like, nah, let's do it. And then they had a 45-minute. It hadn't opened yet. I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
nope. I'm gonna waste time.
So,
I've got to keep
so let me
moving.
tell you this: I
Yep.
hate water rides so much, but I
Yep.
appreciate good people and good friends much more. That I was willing to get on that ride with you immediately
Oh, we
without a
should have.
second doubt.
I
Without
know.
a
I
doubt.
know. Oh,
I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that. You told me that, and I believe that because you said it. No, you said like, no. Because I mean, at first I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But no, you told me that, and I knew you meant it. So that was an emphatic statement. It had an impact. I agree.
But
But
when it comes to Tiana's
Tiana's,
Bay Adventure,
yeah,
I have zero interest in that ride because as
yeah,
a solo rider, I did
sure,
not go on. I went on Splash Mountain as a kid. I rode it once,
yep,
great.
hmm
I'm
yep,
okay without getting that soaked again.
hmm hmm
I don't like walking around the park with wet shoes unless it's raining. You can't help the rain.
sure,
But Tiana's by Adventure, from what I've been
hmm
able to see, it's been having so many troubles nonstop. So much troubles nonstop.
friend,
Every
friend.
day is breaking down, and it's just ruining people's vacations. Because some people will spend
And
hundreds, if not thousands, just to go and experience
there
that
have
park.
been people. There are documented stories of people not being able to ride it. When I went, when you and I both went, Taylor there with his family as well. I crashed, literally crowd surfed. Oh, wait, crowd surfed, couch surfed, or crashed on their Murphy bed at the Riviera. But at the same time, I set up my reservation, like my to the Lightning Lane that morning. We had it booked at 9:40. It was shut down for half the day, and it worked out fortuitously for us. I got to ride it with Taylor and his wife, and
Now,
but
if if I may interrupt you there again,
no, you're fine. I'm listening.
please do some research on this. But I think there was a leak from one of the Imagineers
Okay.
who leaked some information saying that the so Tiana's by Adventure. Now, I hope people correct me if I'm wrong. I hope
Yes.
they do. But this is from what I was able to do a quick read on Google
Yeah.
about Tiana's by Adventure is that
Uh-huh.
the robotic technology they have is some of the newest technology they have,
It is.
but it
It
was
is.
done poorly and it was rushed. I heard leaks that some of the
Yes.
Imagineers were wanting revisions and like wanting to
Yes.
redo some of the engineering behind that robotics, but no, Disney kept pushing, just get it out, just roll it out. And
Marco,
what's
it
happening now
was.
is that same exact technology is going to be copy and
Mhm.
pasted into Disneyland.
Yep.
So what they're doing is they're going to be using that same robotic technology.
Mhm.
I'm assuming the same exact layout because that's what they do nowadays is just copy
Yeah.
and
It's the
paste.
exact same ride. Yeah. It's a copy and
Um,
paste. Yeah.
so that
It would
means
have
you're
to be.
going to have a good percentage, a good amount of
Mhm.
odds of having the same
Yep.
amount of breakdowns on that one, ruining an already great ride.
Yeah.
So, but I hope people correct me
It-
if I'm wrong. Please do.
no. You're 100. I had my suspicions, and I've heard that rumor, and you're 110% right. There was one major animatronic, and I'm going to give you this because we have 4 minutes left, and if we go past that a little bit, that's fine. But I want to kind of stick to it a little bit because I can talk. But that being the case, the first scene where you encounter Louis the
Yes.
gator, and Tiana and all that, and you see them, and you're like, "This is cool," because you turn the corner, forced perspective, and they just kind of pop out of nowhere, right? But he talked, his head swiveled back and forth. but his body didn't move. His body didn't move, didn't do the whole kind of like motion that you've seen like on POV ride videos. And we actually have, we do have a POV ride video that I filmed back in July, currently on the at least only on the YouTube channel. But point being here is that you could see around his neck, there's a little bit of a separation, and there has to be. So therefore, the fabric doesn't rub together constantly. It's not one, it's not connected, but it's very subtle. But I would not have noticed it if the body wasn't moving, or if the body was moving. I wouldn't have noticed that the body was moving. So therefore, it accentuated that lack of motion, that separation, right? But you
Did it
could
have like
see
a longer gap between?
there wasn't too much of a gap. There was a little bit of a gap for it to be able to kind of kind of rotate and turn on its axis, almost like a ball and socket kind of situation. But you could see fraying of the fabric. There was some kind of like, it was kind of actually like it was kind of separating from the actual shell of the, the outer piece, or the actual, main body part or abdomen of the Louis animatronic. And with that being said, I want to jump into, especially, and for the sake of time, Villains Land and the Cars Land expansion in Magic Kingdom. Because we know they're doing away with Tom Sawyer's Island.
Yes.
In the rivers of America.
Have you been on Tom Sawyer Island?
I've never been there.
Okay.
I know it's huge. I know it's neat.
It's big. It's pretty fun. I will say, if you were to go in one of the caves, 10 out of 10, one of the best AC units they have in the park, and they're taking that away. So Tom Sawyer Island used to have a little, I think used to have a little quick service area too. But aside from that, I think it's a mistake that they're taking away Tom Sawyer Island, when right on that picture you have a little bit north of that railway, you can easily start tapping into that land and start expanding on that side too. Also, Cars Land makes no sense in Magic Kingdom. If you're going to put it somewhere, put it in Hollywood Studios, because Hollywood Studios is technically the IP park. To my understanding, aside from Tron, there's no additional IP in Magic Kingdom, but Tron does make sense being where it's at in Tomorrowland area.
Well, yet again, not to contend your opinion, but yet again, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is a salt mine really a mountain, but at the same, or just kind of a mountain. I've been to New Orleans a handful of times.
Yeah,
I've never seen a hill there. Also, but yet again, Cars Land, like it does in, I've never been to California Adventure, but at the same time, I don't know how it blends in next to Avengers Campus and all that stuff. Never been. But I hate to be contrary, but it kind of blends in with Frontierland to begin with. The motif kind of right there next to Big Thunder Mountain.
A little bit. It's just if I look at the pictures correctly, I think there's a snow-capped mountain on there as well. So if you look at
my
no, not that one. But like the concept pictures.
It
looks like
the actual renderings.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how that's going to tie into that, but also it's going to throw away a lot of that ambiance that's already in there, because when you go from Liberty Square and you go round, when you go around, make your way to Big Thunder Mountain, or you make your way to Haunted Mansion, a lot of that scenery right there, when you look at the water, it just looks really beautiful. It looks really good. And especially when you're in the queue for Haunted Mansion, it just looks nice just going out there and like just seeing it. A lot of what makes park and theme park attractions look really wonderful are water features. That's why a lot of water parks and a lot of amusement parks everywhere have some water features. It just makes it look more beautiful, and it helps with the aesthetic.
You need that. I've seen some POV videos of some of the European parks, like Europa Park in Germany, Phantasialand. If you've ever seen Phantasialand or any type of video, I'll give you a list. I'll send you a list after the fact of videos of these parks, not just the attractions there, right? But Europa Park in Germany. Yes, in Germany. Also, or that's in Italy. Either way. But the greatest, probably the most beautiful, the top two most beautiful parks in the world, in my opinion, and I've been to one of the two. One, Efteling. You ever heard of Efteling?
Never heard of it.
Do yourself a favor, because what you're saying is a resounding gong in my head. It's the first park I thought of when they were doing away with the rivers of America, right? Even though Tom Sawyer's Island really didn't have too much of an impact on me aesthetically, it was a place that I always wanted. Well, aesthetically, it was pleasing to see, especially you're talking about right when you pass, like you're standing in front of Liberty Tree Tavern and you're looking out on the rivers of America. You got the riverboat, which is iconic, iconic Disneyland, iconic Walt Disney, his vision, right? And then to the right, Haunted Mansion, to your left, Big Thunder Mountain and Splash Mountain, Frontierland right there. But it just looks beautiful. It's a great scene. But Efteling is in the Netherlands. It is a beautiful park. Not only do people enjoy just strolling around the park, looking at the different water features, natural creeks, lakes. They have every type of animatronic, every type of modern ride. They set the standard in a way for parks that actually have a good blend of technology, the latest technology, force perspective, which Disney, of course, established from a park standpoint, but also just natural beauty. It's built into the landscape. And they protect the park and they take pride in that park. And that's very similar also to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. It is considered one of the most beautiful parks in the world. Why? Because of the blending of rides in nature. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful location. I've only been to the park twice, and that's growing up. But what I remember is that it definitely transports you like a Disney park, but they've maintained that quality. And they've been able to build upon that under the same theme, where Disney's, instead of just flushing the lake, literally flushing the lake and saying, sorry, Tom Sawyer, go paint your fence somewhere else with Huck Finn. They've got this going on. And that, I agree with you more so. And I think with that being said, I think we're going to leave it there. But on my end, what do you have?
So I will say, as far as villains,
Yes.
I'm all for it.
Yes.
I'm excited for it. That's
Sure.
one of two new additions to the parks that I'm actually really looking forward to. Villains Land and Monsters Inc. area. Wherever those may fall, unfortunately, it's at this point, it doesn't seem like Disney is going to expand its own property, and it doesn't seem like
Studios. No,
it doesn't look like they're going to expand, even though they have a parking lot that's like well more bigger than the actual park itself.
Are you talking about over there by the northern part of the park, northern side of the park behind Indiana Jones on that side? Yeah.
Which right now it's like mostly like cast member parking, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
But they can easily tap into that and start creating even more stuff. But right now, at the current state of how Disney is, I think they're just doing a Hail Mary and trying to toss out everything they can to build excitement, even though it's going to take many years for it to actually be completed, if it's completed in time, because we all know Community Core Hall took many years.
The Marriott, you mean the Marriott?
Oh my, that hallway with flags and I will say the best thing about Community Core Hall is the air conditioning.
There you go.
It's 100%. A great air conditioning spot. But aside from that,
yet again, we haven't seen it, incorporated with a festival yet. So yet to be seen, but I don't see you can really do too much. You're just gonna have like some random booths in there, maybe some like live entertainment, maybe.
I did not see. Last time I was there, I did not really see it built for booths.
See that I'm just trying. Yet again, I'm spitballing. I'm trying to speculate like what you could do with that when they start Food and Wine at the end of this month.
But again, they could do things like that, but will they do things like that?
Yeah,
that's the question.
Wish and want.
But I mean, I hate to say it, but definitely look at I think it's called Theme Park Stats or something like that, where you can find your theme park statistics. Unfortunately, the past 2 months have been really, really low with attendance. And summertime should be one of their busiest times of the year.
When we were there, it was crowded, but it was not last year. It was not last year in the spring. It was not last year or the year before.
I feel like last time we went there, when I hung out with you for a day, I felt like I could walk and breathe. I've been there when it's been very crowded and very uncomfortable.
Yes.
But unfortunately, if attendance is at a decline, that means that profits are also at a decline, which means that the parks are going to suffer. And again, as I said before, and I'll say this again, I want the parks to succeed. I know it's getting expensive to go, but they need to make that profit. And I hope they can make that profit somewhere. And with all these additions and expansions, I'm all for it, if it's done in good taste.
Well, yet again, it's going to make or break it. It's going to make or break it in a sense. But I have a lot of hope. Yet again, And people are saying that Epic Universe, blah, blah, this and that is just, they're getting that done and they're ahead of schedule. They're getting that done in two. No, 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 no. Epic Universe from Universal has been years, if not a decade, in the works. They've had this in mind for a long, long time. And these types of major additions take time to plan. They just don't wake up one day and go, you know what? Now, outside of Communicore Hall, which was literally like they scrapped everything and just went, this is all we have the budget for. This is all we can allocate based on the current state of things. But yet again, how things currently are, I just really hope creatively from a media entertainment standpoint, things will increase, things will change, things will be more original. We have more things to get excited about instead of something like one thing every year or one thing every couple of years.
So,
and that will directly translate to success at the parks.
I keep seeing one spot on the picture of your background. And it says, it's a small world. I'm going to throw this very unpopular topic out there.
Please.
Take down It's a Small World and make something better.
Please. Every day of the week.
I do not.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I can't. When I went with Taylor and his crew, and he said, come on, we got to do it. I was like, no, we don't. So that's fine. We don't have to.
They remind me of those
girls.
Of that like puppet doll Annabelle from the movies.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah, but that would have been me like taking myself out, not the doll. But that's neither here nor there. Marco, your opinion is golden. Your opinion carries so much clout, so much weight. You have no idea how much I appreciate you recording with me. Sorry that I had to cancel on you a couple times. That's just me being me and life being life. But yet again, like you said, you have the best seat in the house. The car, and I'm in my Lux fancy studio with the perfect acoustics. I'm in my dining room. So, but regardless of that, at least for us on our end, we do have some exciting things coming up. We have some new guests coming up. We have someone lined up in the very near future who is apparently a self-professed Disney fanatic. So that's going to be interesting. So that's something to look forward to. And then also we have a potential
self-professed Disney fanatic. I feel that applies to all of us.
Yeah. Have you held a mirror up? Exactly. So this is going to be interesting. I don't know if this is kind of like a curveball thing. We're going to find out. And then another thing is, Lorcana.
Oh yeah.
Lorcana, the trading cards. We have a Lorcana expert lined up. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that because Lorcana is cool.
So I'm going to geek out with you a bit. So I never played Lorcana, but I play a lot of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to talk my friends into just tapping into Lorcana for a bit.
Sure.
I've never played it. It seems fun, and I'm not knocking anybody that plays it.
No.
But man, the eyes, the stares I get from every time I bring up Lorcana, it's just wild.
Get over yourself is what you tell them. I'm living my best life. I'm doing what makes me happy. And I'll tell you something, like my kids do love the Lorcana. They'll do anything. They'll do any chore. It's amazing what they can get done when they have motivation behind them and they want to work for Lorcana. But I'll tell you something, there is something about like the animation on those cards, the actual like quality of the drawings and illustrations on those cards are second to none. It's just, it's old school Disney. And when I've done my own pack. And I'm going to do I plan to do like a reveal, kind of like a card reveal and go, all right, I've got this. Explain to me what's the value. What makes this card unique? And he's probably going to go, your entire deck's a dud. So move on. But I want to see his collection. I know he's got like a vast collection. So that's something that's in the works. And a couple other things coming down the line that we're in talks, but we will see. Potential person that was involved with the Disney documentary that we've been in touch with. She was one of the main narrators of that, and she is interested in joining the podcast. The one that they did on the History Channel. So that is something that we are excited about. That's been in the works. And beyond that, we've got a lot coming up. Paid off the rest of the remaining balance of the cruise. And so I'm going on the second voyage of the Disney Treasure for New Year's. We're doing a 7-night Western Caribbean cruise. So that's going to be interesting. So if you have an extra kidney, undocumented, like body part that's worth a lot of money, let me take it off your hands. And there's going to be a little barcode at the bottom of this, like a QR code you can scan.
I got those in the trunk right there for you, buddy, in case you need them.
I knew I could count on you.
I'm
That's the whole
reliable.
reason. If you're anything, it's reliable and loyal. No, but no, we're excited about that. Taylor's going back to the parks in October. They're gonna give us some feedback on Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. You're going back in November, right? Or December? When are you going again?
I was planning on doing a earlier trip in November,
Okay.
maybe October, but
Mhm.
I'm actually just gonna hold off and not go until December. So that's
Got you.
I'm gonna go in
Got
for
you.
Jollywood Nights again and go
Yeah.
do the
Nice.
Very Merry Christmas party again. So
Very cool. Very
the
cool.
Very Merry Christmas party is just
Mhm.
it's something I've made tradition every year. So
That's very cool.
as long as Jollywood Nights is available, I'll just keep including that one as well.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I want to try and get back, but we may make a trip. We may make a stop before we go on the cruise and we go down there. Not sure yet. That may be a surprise for the kids or not. They don't stay up this late and pay attention. Maybe they listen, maybe they don't. That's neither here nor there. But point being is that we're still on the fence whether we're going to sign up for the race because we're paying off the cruise right now, or we paid for the cruise, but whatever our version of that is. So that's a lot in a short period of time because our plan is to do cruise and then hopefully it's a pipe dream, but we have some good friends of ours from Atlanta and they want to go to Disneyland. They have their kids and our kids and they get along famously. But we are looking to hopefully next year in June do a week's trip to Anaheim and go to Disneyland. So we will see that. That's a huge hypothetical. Like what if, like pipe dream, maybe, probably not, but neither here nor there. But Marco, yet again, I appreciate your time. And yeah, we're going to have you on very soon because there are way too many things that happen with Disney and I want your opinion. Okay. But if you'll have me and I'll have you, or I don't think that came out right. If you will join me in the near future for another episode, would you be up for it?
Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
I always have a spot for you, buddy.
Co-pilot. Abbott, take the wheel.
We can take this on the road and talk as we go, because that's when my better thoughts even come. So, funny story, really quick.
Yep.
Poor friends of mine, some of them will get like 4 a.m. texts as on my way to the gym, and I just like throw them like the most random, spontaneous questions. True story.
If you send it to me at 4, I'll get it at 6. I'm up anyway. So if you want to send me a random thought of the day or a random question, I've always got an opinion. I'll probably send you some lame meme that's completely out of context. You're like, what? Okay, that's the last time I texted him randomly. But no, I get it.
I'm okay with thumbs up, by the way.
That's it. Thumbs up. I like it. Just want to make sure you're still keeping on, or doing the thing. Whatever. I've got lack of words. But that being said, because it's 10:35 here, and you're must be nice 8:35 Mountain Time. Look at me, Penrose and his. No, I'm guessing with you. No, that's the nature of things. But Marco, I appreciate your time.
Likewise, buddy.
All right, man. We'll talk soon.
See ya.